Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB. Embrace the iExamB learning experience for 50% faster job preparation. As your SEBI Grade A legal exam nears, Phase 1 exam is going to be held on the 10th of January. We have started discussing some of the most important questions from your Phase 1 syllabus. As the first video, we had discussed important questions from the Indian Contract Act, and in this particular video, we will take out the other contract laws related to Specific Relief Act and the Sales of Goods Act. If we see in the past, together all the contract laws, the 4 contract laws account for 25% of the weightage of the questions in Phase 1. In the past, we have seen sporadic distribution of questions being asked from Specific Relief Act. Some years they are asked, some not. When they are asked, a good number of 2 or 3 questions can be expected from this particular act. Sales of Good Act has been a more consistent act in the last 2 years, since when there has been a segregation between the Phase 1 and the Phase 2 syllabus. So in 23 and 24, we saw 3 questions each being asked from Sales of Good Act. So today in this video, we will discuss the important sections that you should be revising at this moment from these 2 acts, and we'll also take up some practice questions from both the acts today. Right? Before I move on, I will also like to tell you about the SEBI Legal Phase 1 Quick Revision and Practice course that has been launched by iExamB to help you with your last minute revision and practice. This includes a lot of practice for the paper 1 and paper 2. For your legal subject, all the syllabus of Phase 1, legal summaries and MCQ booklets are a part of this course. You also get access to 30 mock test exact same pattern, 15 each for paper 1 and paper 2. You also have access to all the past year paper files since 2020 for both paper 1 and paper 2. We are also conducting marathon sessions, live sessions from 25th of December, where we will be doing classes both for each of the subjects of paper 1 and 2 separate classes for comprehensive legal revision with Indra ma'am. iExamB has been guiding for SEBI Legal since 2020, and we are proud to be associated with the journey of a lot of candidates, increasing every year and year. And we have the highest number of selections and SEBI legal officers from iExamB. So let's move ahead and discuss some of the important questions and strategy from the Specific Relief Act and the Sales of Goods Act. In this PDF, first you will find the details of the Specific Relief Act. So let's move ahead and discuss the strategy first. Your most important sections from this act will be your Section 6, Section 10, Section 14, and your Section 20. Right? From Section 6, please master this particular section along with all the subsections. Some factual time-based information and data that will be very, very important is your 6-month rule. Section 10, specifically because of all the fundamental changes that have been brought in after the 2018 amendment. These 2 sections together are likely to be the bulk of your questions that can be asked. Under your Section 14, all the 4 categories along with their real-world applications is an important aspect for you to revise and thoroughly prepare on. Also, understanding Section 16, specifically Section 16C, the readiness requirement, and how frequent, as it is very, very important because it frequently appears in a lot of application-based scenarios. As I already stated, time-based facts, as mentioned under Section 6, Section 20, Section 20C are some of the most critical points to remember and memorize. Fundamentally, you should be aware about all the changes that have taken place in Section 10, 14, 16, and 20. Okay, also few of the related sections and how are they different from each other is important. For example, Section 5 versus 6, Section 14 versus 16, Section 20A versus the injunctions under Section 41. In addition to these, as I stated, Section 6 10, 14, 20, which are very, very important. You can support your further preparation by covering section 2, the definitions, 9, the defenses, section 13, which mentions and lays out the purchaser's right, section 26 to 27 related to rectification and rescission, and 30 to 33 related to cancellation and restitution. Right? Having clarity on this, let's move on and practice few of the questions. The first question, under section 6 of the Specific Relief Act 1963, which of the following is not a statutory condition or limitation for a suit by a person dispossessed of immovable property? A. The plaintiff must have been dispossessed without his consent. The dispossession must be otherwise than in due course of law. The suit must be brought within 6 months from the date of dispossession. No appeal shall lie from any order or decree passed in such suit, and suit must be instituted within 3 years from the date of dispossession. The correct answer over here is E. Please note the question is asking which is not a statutory condition, right? Many times we may skip seeing the word not and get confused, wondering all of them look correct, so which one to go ahead with, right? So be very careful with the questions in that case. We know that there is no 3-year limitation that is mentioned under section 6 at all, right? So that's why this point E is not correct. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following best reflects the post-2018 statutory position under substituted section 10 of the Specific Relief Act? A. Specific performance is an exceptional remedy granted only when monetary compensation is inadequate. The court has absolute discretion to refuse specific performance even if the contract can be specifically enforced. Specific performance of a contract shall be enforced subject to sections 11(2), 14 and 16 and to the provisions of the substituted performance. Specific performance cannot be granted where compensation is not claimed in the plaint, and specific performance can be granted only in respect of contracts concerning immovable property. The correct answer over is C. That means, and why? Because by Act 18 of the 2018, section 10 was substituted to provide that specific performance of the contract shall be enforced by the court subject to the provisions contained in subsection 2 of section 11, 14 and 16, right? So this was substituted and the correct answer therefore stands at C over here. Okay, similarly in this document you will find more practice questions from the most important sections that will help you revise some of the most critical sections along with their application for the Specific Relief Act. We will now move on to discuss the strategy and some important questions from the next act, which is the Sales of Goods Act. For your Sales of Goods Act, the most critical sections where you should have a full in-depth understanding include your section 2, section 4, 5, 6, section 12 to 17, section 18 to 30, section 31 to 44 and 45 to 54. The other important sections include 9 to 11, 55 to 61, 62 and your 64 and 64A, right? So here you can have a quick review of them. If you still find time, then you can also supplement with the remaining sections mentioned over here, right? But as I stated, most critical are these, which should definitely be a part of your revision strategy, and remaining can be done depending on the availability of your time. So let's move ahead. More direct questions are likely from this particular act, but with good understanding about the goods, when is the transfer taking place and all. So let's do the first question. Under the Sales of Goods Act 1930, which of the following best reflects the statutory scheme for transfer of property and goods as between a seller and buyer? A. Property and goods always passes to the buyer at the time of payment of the price unless the different intention appears. Property and goods passes only upon delivery, irrespective of the intention of the parties. It passes when the parties intend it to pass, and such intention is gathered from the terms of the contract, conduct of the parties and the circumstances of the case. Property in goods in all cases passes when the goods are ascertained, or property in goods in all cases passes when the goods are put into a deliverable state. The correct answer here is C, which is given under section 19(1), that provides that there is a contract for sale or specific or ascertained goods. The property in them is transferred to the buyer at such time as the parties intend it to be transferred, and the subsection 2 mandates that the regard shall be had to the terms of the contract, right? So it is very, very important that these points are considered. Only then is it considered that the property in goods has been passed. Let's look at another question from this document. A contract of sale is entered into on 1st July 2025 for the goods at a price of 10 lakh when a particular duty is not chargeable on the goods. Subsequently, by a Finance Act, such duty is imposed and becomes payable in respect of the goods before delivery, and the seller actually pays this increased duty. Under Section 64A of the Sales of Goods Act 1930, which of the following best states the effect on the contract price in the absence of a different intention appearing from the contract? A. The seller must bear the increased duty and cannot add it to the contract price. The buyer must bear the increased duty separately, but the contract price remains unchanged. The contract is frustrated and becomes void due to change in tax incidence. The seller may add to the contract price the amount of the increased duty paid. The buyer may deduct the amount of the increased duty from the contract price. The correct answer over here is D. As per section 64A, this section basically provides for such a change in the duty structure. So if you will read the detailed explanation, unless a different intention appears from the terms of the contract, where after making of a contract or sale, any duty or custom or excise is imposed or increased and is paid by the seller, the seller may add so much to the contract price as will be equivalent to the amount paid in respect of such imposition or increase, right? So like this, you will find questions from the specific relief and the Sales of Good Act that can help you further practice the important sections of both these acts from the exam point of view. You can download the PDF from the description of this particular video. You can also download our app to get access to all the information related to the exams and various free resources like your general awareness preparation, daily quizzes for your quant reasoning, English application, and various other updates related to the exam. If you are a paid course user, you will also be able to seamlessly access the course on the app. Or you need any other help, you can write to us at hello@iexamb.com or call us at 920-552-408. Or you can also visit our website iexamb.com. Wishing you all the best.